I'm Ian Rush and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the Uncensored match build-up show. Liverpool taking on the Manx this Sunday, and we're here to talk about it. Aubrey Reynolds is here, John Machin's here. Let's get stuck straight into it. Dad, first off, how massive is this game?
Not massive at all.
Really? Downplaying it?
Two ordinary teams.
It's mid-table.
Bang average Premier League teams taking on each other at Anfield.
It's big in our minds, isn't it? Because it's United and we want to murder them.
Yeah.
They've been awful all season. They're still ahead of us.
Yeah.
So you want to wipe the floor with them, don't you? They wiped the floor with us, God knows how, when we were at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
So we really owe them a good hiding, don't we?
I think there's 3 points separate us at the minute, Aubrey, which is astonishing when you think about it, because I know Man United have been on this poor run of form, but this is a club that it's not been that long since they were talking about they were going to win the title. Yeah. You know, they were ticking over, they were winning games, they were just making points happen for them. The fact that we are within touching distance of them, albeit they've got a far superior goal difference, that makes this game so, well, I'm not sure it can make it more exciting, but it has. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I want us to win, but I don't want us to batter them because I don't want them to sack Van Gaal. So I'm like, we need the 3 points.
The chance.
We need a win.
I'll worry about that in due course.
Yeah. No, it is. It's insane, isn't it? I was convinced. I watched them win at Watford about 8 weeks ago, and at that point I thought, oh no. They've got that ability to... They were winning 1-0, didn't play particularly well. He conceded a penalty, it went to 1-1, 1-2-1. And I was like, they're going to fluke this. This is a season that the league's open to anyone. No one's really putting it down. They've not been figured out. They're not great, but they've got this pragmatic way of picking up points. And the wheels have come off. And it's great because the wheels should have come off. The wheels should have come off last year. They were winning they've won so many points under Van Gaal that they haven't deserved. Yeah. They've been the worst team in that match.
They've been criticised by everyone in Manchester, well, not in Manchester,
Salford,
in London and all the rest of it, for not scoring goals. I mean, they had 10 games, didn't they, where they didn't score it in the first half.
Yeah.
And they've been praised to the heights for the game at Newcastle where they threw off the shackles and they were absolutely dreadful.
Yeah.
They got a really dubious penalty. Newcastle pulled the 2-goal deficit back and then let them off the hook by sort of sitting back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they gift them another goal and still managed to get a draw out of it. You know,
yeah.
I mean, they're not a good side, United.
I think the problem is, though, again, is that they're not great by their own high standards, but it's United, isn't it? You know, you look at. I think the thing for me, I look at that Newcastle game is like Wayne Rooney's been diabolical this season, and to be fair, I don't think he's ever he lives up to a lot of the hype that has been laid at his feet, you know, over the years. But he gets a chance. That's a great goal he scored against Newcastle. And that's what they have, Aubrey, is that even when they're not great and they're not in great form, blah, 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 they have the ability, the players they've got, you know, the Juan Matas, Martial, Wayne Rooney, they're going to cause us problems, nevertheless.
Oh, they are. And again, it's like, it's you said something really interesting there. They're not great due to their high standards of the past, like the recent past, because they're a mid-table team. But we struggle against the mid-table teams, you know, like that. If we were talking about a build-up to a Palace or a Stoke or Tottenham or whoever's at West Ham who's around us in that, we'd be like, well, they could come here and cause us problems. Well, theoretically at home, we should be beating them, but they've got the players to cause us problems, and they do. Yeah. They're in that run. They're not awful. They're never going to get relegated. They're not infinitely worse than us. They're not better than us, which is a strange situation because we've never really been in the Premier League years on a level with them. We've either been a lot better than them or worse than them, and that's it. But they have got players. There's players on that pitch, and if there's ever going to be a game that they can G themselves up for, it's away at Anfield, isn't it?
That's true, but at the same time, I mean, Van Gaal sets them up not to concede goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that worries me because obviously we struggle to score goals. But what I'm encouraged by is they won't beat us if they come and play like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if they actually want to take the game to us, then we will beat them.
It's interesting. We've got a tactical preview from United People's TV where they talk about it, and I watched it the other day, and it exposed some things that I didn't realise what was going on. So this season they've been playing 4-2-3-1, and that is where they've had that run of they didn't score in the first 10 matches of the games, which is it's just the first 10 matches of the halves, yeah, and it's basically because they're so solid and they're so rigid, and because he felt Like, they didn't think he'd do this because he was so stubborn, but because he felt that his job was slipping away, he changed to a 4-3-3. And they've scored goals, but they've also conceded goals in those matches.
Yeah.
So they're a bit similar to us, where they've got one thing or the other. Now, they have it in across varying games. We have it within the game. We can either not score and concede or whatever, but they either don't score, but they keep it really tight, which, yeah, I wouldn't be worried about them beating us, which is a big fear. Or they will score goals, but they will concede goals. And after the attack and play we had against Arsenal, and with players coming back, and particularly with, they've got a few defensive injuries. Like, they play Blind as a centre-half, and he isn't a centre-half. He's not particularly good. No. Smalling's a bit like Sacco. He was great at the beginning of the year, but he's getting his fitness back.
They play Young at right back a lot these days. It's just, you know.
But they are. The worst thing about it is they've had these things. They had this last season, didn't they? They had a few that was like, oh, well, we can definitely get at them here, and then they just absolutely
Well, the problem we have is that we don't take our chances. Yeah. If we take our chances against United, we'll beat them. Yeah. You know, and if we get to half time and we've missed 3 chances, then, you know, your game's probably over.
You throw your captain on and he gets sent off after 60 seconds.
God, yeah, and I'm on Sky Sports cameras while it's happening later. Great. Oh, Stevie still owes me a pint for that. Yeah, and we've in recent history we're in a terrible run of form against them. I think we've only won 1 of the last 4. We won 2 in 6 or something like that. Like, doesn't go massively well. It's like 2.5 years since we actually last beat them at Anfield as well. So we are due. We're definitely due something. And I'm encouraged by the Arsenal performance. Has really encouraged me. And I think the big question, I guess, that is whether we can we do that again with only a few, half a week to be there. We've had a day's less preparation time than they will have, etc., etc. It's a big ask.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a big ask for them because they've just gone and they've had the game of their lives. 6 goals in a game. United, they're probably still drunk on it. So they've got to come to Anfield.
Well, we spent a lot of time in the Far Away post Arsenal talking about Firmino, and I think he will be key to this for us because Coutinho's not going to be back. Firmino finally showed what. Well, not finally, because we've seen glimpses of it, but that was the closest to a £29 million performance we've seen from him so far. Aubrey, scoring goals, getting onto things, looking to set goals up as well. He's going to need to replicate, and Liverpool, in fact, as a whole, are going to need to replicate and maybe even better that performance, I think, at the weekend.
I don't know about better, because Arsenal are a better team than United. So I think we raised our standard and we played really, really well. Yeah. The problem is the history of Firmino is he goes missing now for 5 matches. And he needs to break that habit, because if he can turn up for this match, it might just be a turning point for him. Yeah. So he, on an individual level, definitely, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the false 9 again. Yeah. I think that's the team that Klopp likes to play. It's definitely where we've played our best football, and I think they will struggle with that more than Mark and Benteke. Smalling will know how to play against Benteke, whereas I think Smalling, Blind will struggle against, like, hypothetically, will struggle against the movement. I like
the notion. It depends who they go with at the back, because if they go with a Blind at centre back again, I would keep Benteke in reserve and go for the last 15 minutes. There you go, mate. Yeah. That's it on. And then I've actually got no problem with kind of like what I saw we saw throwing Corker on and stuff, is that if you've got, you're very rarely going to have 2 towering centre halves, which is what I think we tried to play on Arsenal. They had Mertesacker to deal with Benteke. You bring another one on. Well, hang on a second. Which one does he favour? I'd like us to target that, but I think I would prefer to see us do what we did against Arsenal, put our best, most paciest, most skillful players, our most fluid system in place, and go out and spend the first 15 minutes doing everything in our power to get that first goal, because how do Man United react to that is the big question in this game, because if we can get ourselves in front, they're struggling for goals, even though not as badly as us. How do they then shift from that, not trying to get beat, to actually trying to shift the game back to their favour? And I think that will pile all the pressure onto them, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to remember their fans as well. They're all up in arms the way United are playing. Yeah. And this is one game where they won't really allow them, to be as horrible as they've been. They will expect their team to come out at Anfield and beat us. you know, and that gives our players every chance. And I think it's a no-brainer really that Benteke won't start. And I don't think we've got a lot of other choices. You know, I think the team more or less picks itself at the moment because Coutinho's not there. The only question marks are going to be around who's fit to play in defence, and you know, are they going to be good enough when United attack?
Well, I guess this is the big question. I know Chris has done his starting 11 prediction show, which you'll be able to check out. But I'll pose the question to you guys. In terms of the defence, you know, look, Sakho doesn't look fully fit. He struggled at times in that Arsenal game. Kolo Toure is a million years old, even though he's not. He's actually around my age, which is really depressing. You know, Klopp's basically said in the past that he doesn't feel that he can play 2 games. In fact, that's the ambulance come to collect him. To collect him there. You know, he might not be able to play those 2 games. Stephen Corker, would you put him in for
I
this?
think he'll have had 4 or 5 days training with them now, only since he's been at the club. So it's not like it's throwing a guy in on the day you bought him. Klopp mentioned when we signed him, to play in the Premier League, you need to have Premier League experience, and that's one of the key points that he put in there, because he has got that. He didn't have much this year because he didn't get into the Southampton team that much, but he's played for 3 different teams in the Premier League, and he's got that experience. I think it's Kolo. I know what you're saying about Sakho, and Kolo was the better centre-half. He just can't do it. And we were writing him off in one of the Capital One Cup games when he picked up an injury, because he just looked like an old man. Yeah. He looked like a kid from Lethal Weapon shouting, "I'm just too old for this shit," didn't he? He was like walking around holding his back. And
his Roger Mair
he just like pulled over all his muscles, and he just looked knackered. And I think that's the position he'll be in, and it'll just be a game to... If it was a week between games, he'd have probably started.
And Klopp seems convinced that Kolo can't play 2 games in a week, and that's fair enough. He also hinted that Sakho was going to struggle to play 2 games in a week, but I'm not sure he's got much choice. Colker, on the, you know, I mean, United are not going to be throwing balls into the box for him to head away. So, you know, how good is he on the deck? I don't know. If in the best of all possible worlds, you would not throw a new centre back into this game. Yeah, you just wouldn't do it. So, you know. It's a bit of a gamble, but I don't think he's got a lot of choice.
It's a weird one, because I guess given the choice between, if you can only play one of the 2, Sakho or Toure, and you're going to bring Corker in, I guess the question is, where's Corker most comfortable playing in
right
defence?
Or the left.
And would you rather have Toure there with him just to guide him through it, I guess, to some extent? I think there's a case with Toure, if you can... Look, Sakho's clearly better, and when he's fully fit, I think he's
maybe he can give us a half each.
Yeah, go 50-50, tag it in on the touchline.
I always remember Everton bought someone from Blackburn, I can't remember his name, Glenn someone or other, and they put him in for his first game, and I think Rush scored 5 that day, and he got sent off, I think, and he just had an absolute nightmare, and that's what you don't want, isn't it? Yeah. Your new centre-back to just be ripped to shreds and just be destroyed forever.
But the thing is the thing that it's these games, trial by fire, sink or swim. If he wants to be a Liverpool player, Corker, then he's got to be able to come into these games.
I just don't know. I haven't seen him enough to know what he's like in his all-round play. I just know that he's very tall and can head the ball. Yeah. I have no idea whether he's good on the deck. He could be Alan Hansen for all I know.
He is, from what I remember of him, more so with Cardiff, he had a team that got relegated, he was their best player, and he was good in possession.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
But he always ends up back in the Premiership, doesn't he? Yeah. He gets relegated, but he always ends up on loan.
But I think the thing for me, and it's probably a little simplistic, but I know he's not really played for Southampton this season. That Southampton felt he would be a good fit for them. Has to be some form of encouragement, I guess. You know what I mean? You don't have a total dogs at the back. Yeah. Like Van Dijk's a good player, Font's a good player. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's got enough. I think he's got enough about him. It is. You're right. That'll be the eternal fear. But given the
situation,
why
buy him if you're not going to play?
Exactly that. Any other changes?
No, I think that's the one that's press. It's all about fitness, isn't it? It's all about who.
I still think Lucas is a better bet holding midfield. He passes the ball better than the others as well. We give the ball away far too much against Arsenal.
What about Joe Allen?
Well, I don't know. He's in good form, but I wouldn't make 2 changes in midfield. Yeah. Milner, Henderson, and Jan, I'm not sure that that's necessarily the best three we've got. So.
It's an interesting one. I'm fascinated to know people's thoughts on this. You know, what would you do? Does Emery, if you base on Emre Can's first half performance against Arsenal, he probably starts. If you base on the second half, no chance. Nowhere near that start 11. Joe Allen, you know, that's two vital, you know, parts he's played in big games recently, assisting and scoring. He's looked good. He seems to be having a good spell of form. Would you put him in there?
Maybe
you know?
he'll bring them on as a double act, you know, 15 minutes to go, little and large.
Absolutely. But yeah, if you're watching, let us know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Okay, score predictions, Dad?
3-1.
Wow.
2-0 to us.
Great. I can't see us not conceding a goal. It's bound to happen, isn't it? You know what? I'll go for another one. I'll go for a 3-1 on that. Be like Arsenal, except that we'll concede less goals. Okay. I'd be happy with that. Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're watching at home, there's nods around the room, that'll do. If you're watching at home, would you be happy with that? Let us know what your score prediction is in the comments below. Check out the rest of the pre-match content. We've done some collaboration stuff with United People's TV, although despite the fact that they are Man United fans, they're not total dickheads. They're total dickheads, but we've done content with them, so watch it. There's also a stat attack featuring me. We're going to give you everything you need to know ahead of this game in terms of stats, you know, danger men, form guides, past meetings, all that kind of stuff. It's good. I've really enjoyed doing it this week. So go and watch that. Check out the Far Away Show if you want to have one last look back at Arsenal on the RedmenTV.com. That's boss. Everything's boss. Yeah? But the expression I've gone with at the minute, I've been doing this at home, I'm instigating this one, is I'm choosing happiness.
You're choosing to be happy?
I'm choosing happiness, because why would you not? You know, I'm choosing to be upbeat, I'm choosing to be positive. Why the fuck not? Liverpool can go and win this game, and we can go and win it well, because we have the ability to do that. Yes, we could
and
lose
how
it,
happy will we feel on Saturday, Sunday night, rather?
Yeah.
If we do.
I'm choosing happiness, and so should you. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the redmentv.com, because that's amazing. Thoughts on anything in the comments below, and we'll see you soon. Ta-ra.
Back, he can play centre-back. And since Shaw's out, Rojo's out, and Blynn's now got to play centre-back, we don't have anybody else. But against Newcastle, Darmian started left-back, but within 10 minutes, he had taken a cross down at right wing, he had been spotted in midfield, he was kind of all over the place. If he doesn't have that discipline against you, you're going to exploit it. So if I was Klopp looking into this, I'd see this as the 2 weak points, but you really need your pace. That's why I think Moreno and Klein can probably be your danger points, because for me, that's where I'm looking as the big weakness in our defence. I don't think you've got enough